Hello and welcome to yet another video tutorial, still on the action of rivers. River action involves three processes. We have river erosion, we have river transport, and we have river deposition. In this video, my focus will be on river transport. Remember, I did a video on the four processes of river erosion, and it is still one of my videos there. So today, allow me to focus on river transport. So there are four processes in which a river transports its load. We are going to see the process of saltation, the process of suspension, the process of traction, and we shall also see the process of solution. So let's dive into the four processes of river erosion. The first and very simple process is the process of solution. So how does it take place? And here we are saying that it is basically transportation of the soluble load. Examples of soluble load will be something like rock salt. Rock salt is soluble in water. Limestone is soluble in water. So how does it take place? This load will usually dissolve in water, and because it is soluble in the water, it dissolves in the river, and then it is transported in solution form. So when it is transported in the form of a solution, this process of river transportation, we call it solution. Then process number two is the process of saltation. So what is saltation? Here we're going to see that it depends on the size of the materials which are being transported. So the medium sized load, which basically can involve examples like small rock boulders, can be transported downstream. Then the question is, how are they transported? This load is usually transported or moved in a series of jumps and hops. It moves up, it moves down to the floor of the river or the riverbed. But then for that reason, because the river is flowing downstream, then we have it being moved. Let's see here a demonstration of how we can have transportation of this load. So assume this is the river, and here we have the riverbed. So here we have tiny medium-sized pieces of rock. So the first thing, the rock is lifted up by the water currents. Then as it falls back, it is moved downstream because of the water currents and the flow of the water downstream. So this piece of rock keeps on being moved up and down, up and down. That's why we are talking about short jumps and short hops, and this is the process of saltation. Next, number three, we have the process of suspension. So you understand that something which is suspended, this is either hanging on the surface of the water or it is embedded within the river, and this means it is carried by the river's currents. It is not in contact with the flow or the bed of the river, and this will usually involve the small sized particles like leaves which can float on water. We have sand particles which can be embedded in the water but they are not soluble. We have soil particles, and actually soil particles, this tells why the river's water will appear reddish. So this load is suspended by the river and the water currents, and for that reason many times just determines the color or the appearance of the river. Then it is moved downstream. Let's see a demonstration on how this load is being transported by the river. So here we have a simple demonstration of the river and the river's bed. So this load is simply suspended, impeded within the river's current, or it is appearing on the surface. And this is what we call transportation in form of suspension. That is the process of suspension. Then we have the last process through which a river transports its load. It's not number 3, yeah, it is number 4, because there are 4 processes. So we have the process of traction. So what is traction? This is basically transportation of now the large sized materials, very large rock boulders, large pieces of rocks. These rocks cannot be lifted above the river's bed because of their weight. So for this reason, the load is rolled along the river's bed, and then this rolling, we say it is being transported through the process of traction. Let's see how this can be demonstrated in a simple diagram. Assuming this is the river and this is the riverbed, then we have a large piece of rock which is simply moving, changing position by being dragged along the riverbed. That's why you're saying it is being rolled, and that's where we have the process of traction, which is one of the ways in which a river transports its load. In summary form, let's see a combined diagram which is capable of showing all these processes in one. So assume this is the river flowing downstream, and then as the river flows downstream, we are showing different types of load which are being transported by this river. The first case, let's put down here the large sized load. You can start guessing which type of or which process of river transportation is that. Then next to that, you can see some small dots here. Then you can see the third one, a particle, a rock particle, which is being moved up and down and eventually transported downwards along the river. So this one here will show the process of traction, where large boulders are rolled along the riverbed. This one will show the process of suspension, where small insoluble materials are suspended in the water current. And this one here, of course, is the process of saltation, because you can see the short hops and the jumps. Then the load, which we cannot see, is the one which is transported in solution form. Thank you for watching. That is what I wanted to cover.